Hello YouTubers, welcome to episode number 12. So as I said in my previous blog, I was going to come down here for a session, so I'm glad I'm here. I've been wanting to do this one for quite a while now. I'm here on a 3-day session, currently weirdly sat in the car. The reason why I'm sat in the car is because behind me is the bivvy. Took ages to set up because we had a nightmare because the wind earlier on was horrendous. It was like 40-mile-an-hour winds. So me and Hayley sort of like really struggled to get the bivvy up in the first place. But we did manage it in the end. Believe it or not, it took us about 3 hours to get properly. So I didn't get a rod out in the water until about 2 hours in because we were messing around trying to get stuff in the bivvy, get everything dry. But we managed it, so that's all good. So yeah, the reason why I'm sat in the car is because she's currently in the bivvy asleep. So I didn't really want to wake her up. And you'll see the footage of that in a minute anyway. So, because I recorded her. Thank you. So, right, peg 28. If you guys know Coking Farm at all, it's not a very big peg. It's quite a small, kind of like on the back of the lake, sort of like behind an island, but I don't mind that too much because I don't mind sort of like the close quarter fishing, if you like. So that's where we are. I'll get out in a minute and I'll show you where everything's set up and everything's doing and what we're using a different kind of method this time, just to try a few different things. So yeah, everything's out, ready to go. Got my receiver sat here just in case anything happens. Again, didn't want to wake her up, so took this with me. So I'll show you the spots now and I'll show you where we're at. Right then everyone, so this is the peg, number 28. The water that you get in this peg rises from the end of that island to the other end of it. So I'll show you where everything is fishing. So the the left hand rod is right over here, right down in this little corner over here. I thought I'd have a go at the margins in this one because there's a lot of reed lines and stuff like that, and I had it on advice from a couple of the guys that I know, the other bloggers. Carp King 71 said that this place is good for margins, and I watched his previous blog here and he did quite well out of that. So well, he was fishing open water, but yeah, he had quite a good session here. So that's that rod. Okay, middle rod is straight out in front of me, right underneath that bush over there, and I'll show you how I did all that in a minute. And then the right hand rod is just off the corner of the island there, just off a bit, probably about half a rod length. Thought I'd try something, you know, a little bit different because I've got two tight to the margin, so thought I'd bring one off the margin a little bit and see how that goes with that. So that's the locations of the gear. Let's say it's quite a busy place as well. There's a lot of people here. Did have a guy drive round a minute ago. The peg over there this weekend is empty, I think, from what he was saying. He did have two mates that were coming, but they've both bailed out. So he said to me, you know, oh, if you want to fish in the water over there, you can at some point, which was nice of him. So I quite like the look of that corner over there as well. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's a nice little corner over there. So we'll see how we get on with these spots that I've got at the moment, and we may mix it up a little bit later on. Right, so as I was saying, I'm trying something a little bit different for this session. So I've brought my bait boat with me. Not something I use a great deal in my fishing these days, but it does come in handy for when you want to start doing the kind of fishing that I'm doing at the moment. It saves a lot of work and a lot of time. I know that like some people have their opinions on bait boats and oh, it's cheating and but you know, to me it's not really cheating, it's more of a tool, and used in the correct manner, I think that it's a very good tool. So this is my one. It's a little J-bow. It's 149 quid. It's very, very basic, literally a little remote like this, obviously like forwards, backwards, left and right, and a function for up and down. And basically, instead of dropping it out the bottom, all this one does is, I'll show you, just tips it out. That's it, that's all it does. So it's got a couple of lights on it and things like that, but it's all I need it for. It's only a cheap little thing, but it does hell of a good job for what it is. So I didn't need to go out and spend copious amounts of money and stuff like that. So obviously in there you can get quite a bit of bait as well. I'll show you what I'm using in a minute for the purposes of using this session. So seeing as I'm only in a tight little swim for this one, didn't really want to be sort of like spotting and you know, having to do all that kind of thing. So all I've done really is just brung my bucket with me, and I'm using boilie crumb. I thought it would be a good idea to use the boilie crumb for this session, purely because it's a pressured water. So I thought, well, as much attraction as I can get into the water, rather than a standard boilie, might put me in a little bit good stead. Plus the carp grub around and feed for ages on this stuff. So this version here is the monster crab from Capellan, which is the cheap stuff that you get in sort of Decathlon that I was talking about. So all I've done is sort of ground that down in the crusher, and yeah, it's quite a good little mix. There's halves and wholes and bits and bobs and all sorts. That's just glugged in with a load of krill liquid just to give it that little bit of extra kick. So it's quite damp, it gets to the bottom quite fast, and yeah, the carp should grub around on that for quite a while. Over in this one I have the CC More Life System, so complete opposite to what that is. Obviously this is sort of like a creamy sort of Scopexy sort of flavour. Again, that's just got bits of candy nut crush as well mixed in with it, just to break it up a little bit. There's a couple of old baits that I had from one of my pots, so there's a couple of dung bells in there and just more bits and goodness and all the rest of it. So I've glugged that up with a bit of the manila as well. So again, it's quite damp, but you know, again, it gets to the bottom quite fast. So 2 scoops of that in the hopper for the bait boat, or that into a solid PVA bag, which I'll show you now. So there is the solid bag that I'm using. It's just pellet with a pop-up, various different colours. The left hand rod is currently on a yellow, the middle rod is currently on a pink, and the right hand rod is currently on a white. So trying a whole array of different colours. I don't really want to be making too much noise in here, just sort of like, you know, plopping the baits in, getting it as tight to that margin as I can with the boat, and yeah, just trying something different really. Not really a tool that I really use a lot in my fishing, purely because I'm used to fishing at range in sort of like the reservoirs, and you cannot use bait boats in there. So for those situations I do have to use my spom rod and my spom, but yeah, for this occasion I don't really need to do that, so why not use the tools that you've got in your box. I had one in my box and that's what I'm using. So that's the setup for this one. Oh, hello, Sleepy. Hello. Had a busy day? Hey. Talk to my viewers. You had a busy day? Say hello. You better wake up.
Why?
We got fishing to do. Evening, everyone. So now we're at about sort of like 7:30, 8 o'clock sort of time. Still pretty quiet at the moment. Hayley is still asleep in there. So yeah, I'll come fishing and go to sleep. Why not? That's what it's for. So yeah, at the moment all pretty quiet. I've had a couple of knocks and a couple of liners, but I think it's just the small stuff at the moment. It's that time of the evening where you get a lot of small stuff activity on the surface and things like that. So I'm going to leave everything where it is for the night, see what happens, and just assess it in the morning really, and see what else we can do. May have some action. I'm not too sure. Don't know what kind of a swim this is, and I don't really know a lot about this place. So bit of a learning curve, but keep my eye on things and looking around. So yeah, right, I'm going to chill out for the night, probably make something to eat, and I'll catch you guys in the morning if I don't see you later on maybe. Good morning, YouTubing. So we didn't have any action last night, apart from a couple of liners at about 2 or 3 in the morning, something like that. As you can see, the apprentice is being a dick. Shut up. So yeah, so just had a recast this morning, just put a couple of fresh bags out and a bit more bait. And I've moved a couple of my rods just out into the open water, a little bit off the islands. Ghostbusters! Because we're picking up a bit of chod. So, yeah.
We are here to fight crime.
We're not. We're here to fish. So...
I think you might have to restart that one.
No, I'm just going to leave it. So, yeah, so that's where we are anyway. So, if anything happens, we'll let you know. At the moment, the weather's dry. And not windy.
And the toilets are miles away.
She's moaning because she has to drive to the bog. So, never mind. Oh well. So yeah, that's where we are. So we'll catch you a bit later on. Got anything else to say before we leave?
No.
Nah, didn't think you did. Hello everyone. So it's just coming on for sort of midday now. Hayley's just gone off in the car. She's gone off to Yeovil for a bit. So that was like part of what we're doing really. She's going to a spa day tomorrow. So she doesn't want to see her all day, which is fair enough. So she's gone off to Yeovil just for a bit of shopping and a look around, I think. So it's just me now for the next few hours till she gets back. Unfortunately, the rain is set in. I think this is pretty much in for the day now. So, pretty bivvy bound. But just going to carry on sitting around and praying to the carp gods at the moment. I don't think anything's been out yet. Haven't heard of anything coming out. Haven't heard any alarms either. So, yeah. All pretty quiet on the Western Front at the moment, but gonna just leave them out there and see if we can nick one, I guess. But until anything happens, I'll catch you later. Right, and guys, just a bit of an afternoon update. Still no fish, no action, and I've just relocated one of my rods. So the middle rod that was fishing over at this bush hasn't really sort of produced anything. So what I've done is I've just switched my rods around a little bit. And now the middle rod, which was the right hand rod, instead of fishing, like I've got one in the sort of like channel just over there, so the right hand rod now is fishing just over here in this corner that I was talking about at the start of my blog. I just walked round, found a little hole in the bush down here. A lot of people have obviously been in here before and put in baits and stuff like that. So you've just got this area here, just a little reed line, and I've just plunked one right on the end of there. So just put a bit of bait in there, gonna leave it, see what happens. Good evening, YouTubers. So we're into the evening now. Absolutely nothing's happened all day, apart from Hayley going off on her travels. So the weather today has been absolutely horrendous. We just come back from the on-site catering van. They've got an on-site catering van here, so you don't have to cook and stuff like that. So usually we do cook, but because the weather's been so bad, we haven't bothered. Have we, LB?
No.
And where have you been today?
Yeovil.
Oi!
Yeovil.
It's rude not to look at people when you're talking.
And Sherborne.
And Sherborne. So she's been off doing that. And tomorrow she's going to a spa at Longleat. Is it Longleat?
Centre Park.
Centre Parks. So that's all good. And tomorrow I will be here trying to catch fish, which I'm not doing a very good job at the moment. But nor is anyone else, because nothing's come out the lake all day. One came out yesterday, so a guy told me down at the catering van. So I'm just going to leave my rods out there, I think, and just try and see what happens as the evening goes on. There's really no point in sort of like recasting and rebaiting if they're not really feeding, and I don't think they are at the moment. So gonna keep to that tactic. Wait for the weather to change as well. There is a change in the weather coming sometime tomorrow, where it's supposed to get bright. It's supposed to brighten up. So I'm hoping that in that switch, maybe that might be the window of opportunity. But for now, if you don't see us in the night, you'll see us in the morning. Say goodbye, LB.
Goodbye, LB.
Bye. Good morning. So it's about 10:30 now in the morning on the Sunday. So today's really the last day, and then we're going tomorrow. Still absolutely nothing. The weather here has been absolutely horrendous. I don't think it stopped raining all night until about 5 minutes ago. So the wind is up, the rain's been hacking away, so yeah, very, very changeable weather. Hayley's gone to the spa day today, so she's out for all day, so it's just me. I've literally just brung the rods in now and just pub chucked 3 PVA bags out there because it's so windy and wet. I'm just going to try and do something else because the spots I'm fishing aren't working, and it doesn't seem to be that I haven't heard anyone's alarms. I haven't heard nothing, so seen anything. So it's really, really quiet at the moment. The weather is due to change this afternoon, so it's going to be the end of the rain. I think it's still going to be a bit of wind, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that will change it. But at the moment, disappointed. So yeah, so that's where it is. 3 PVA bags, just straight back out, nothing around them, just singles, just to see if we can nick a bite. Right, I'll catch you later. Good afternoon. So still no fishy action, but the good news is the sky is now blue, which is great because we've been bivvy bound for sort of like the last 24 hours. The wind has died down a little bit. It's not totally gone yet, but not too sure whether it will. It's still very changeable, changing direction all the time. So I've just had a bit of a rechuck again, and I've just put them back on the spots that I originally started with, just for like the sort of like last 24 hours really, just to see if, you know, now that the weather's calmed down, we may pick one up. I'm not too sure, but can but try. But I think there's a lot of anglers going home today. All the guys over there look like they're all sort of packing up, so yeah, not the best session I've ever had, not really what I was hoping for, but there's still time. But I am a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because I was hoping that, you know, we'd be able to bag one in 3 days, but then again, I don't think anybody else really has either, so I'm not that disappointed in the fact that I'm doing anything wrong. I think it's just the fact that it's the weather, or it's just not fishing very well. So hey ho though, that's what happens. But anyway, there's still time, so it's not all doom and gloom. So we'll carry on, and hopefully maybe this afternoon, now that the weather's calmed down a little bit, they might get on the munch. Hello everyone. So unfortunately today has been another uneventful day. Nothing has happened whatsoever, not even a knock. It's just sort of like gone flat calm now again. Yeah, don't really know what to say about this one. Quite disappointed really, because I was expecting, you know, to catch something here, but that's the way it is. I haven't heard of anything else coming out. The guys that were fishing over there have gone home now, so what I've done just for the night is, for my last night, I have banged one right over in the middle of the bay over there, just right out in the open water. Just took the boat out there, took a solid bag and just a handful of or a scoop full of the live system, and just put it straight out there, right out in the open water. I've got one down here in this margin down here, and my other rod is fishing just off the point of the island over here. So I'm just going to leave it all there for the night now, and probably till tomorrow till I go home. I think we're going home at about midday, so fingers crossed, you know, I can sort of like have something by then, please. Otherwise I'm on a 3-day blank. No one likes those. So yeah, Hayley's on her way back now. She's just finished at the spa, so she's had a good day by the sounds of it, because all I had on the phone was so, yeah, brilliant, tell me when you get here. So yeah, right then, I'll catch you a little bit later on. Right then guys, I'm not too sure what time of the morning it is, but we finally got one, and it's all been worthwhile by the looks of it. I've got one in the net now, or in the cradle. Just went 20, what was it?
27.2.
27 pound 2 ounces. So let's get this one up. That's a new PB for me. Oh God. There we go. Oh, one heavy fish. 27 pound 2 ounces.
Put it down a little bit. There, now you can see it.
Which is a new PB for me. Right in the dark. It was just a couple of bleeps, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So bobbin was all the way up. Picked the rod up, and that came from the open water spot that I moved the rod to, which I talked about yesterday with the guys leaving from the weekend. So it just shows you that being a bit proactive. Bloody hell.
You can't see it. Like, I'm just gonna. You can see it actual there. She looks huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna get this one back now. It's been out for long enough. Yay, new PB. Morning everyone. So, just the one fish last night. However, a new PB. So, 27.2 I think it was. From my memory. 2 o'clock in the morning that was. It just was just like a couple of bleeps. The bobbin went all the way up, stayed tight, and wasn't really a run as such. Just sort of stayed. The bobbin stayed up, lifted it up, and I knew it was a big fish because it was just like that dead weight on your line. So yeah, I was really happy to get that one. I would have preferred it to be in the daytime because we weren't really that organised, so our camera skills wasn't that great, unfortunately. Didn't really turn out that well. It's not your fault, but it's just down to the lighting and stuff. But it was so cold last night because it was a bit of a frost. It was a clear night, so yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the morning now, and we're just sort of like packing down really slowly. So we'll get that done, and then I think we'll be out of here for about 1 o'clock, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, we're just drying everything out now. So still got a little bit more time. I put a little bit more bait out this morning, just to see if we can nick another one before we go. But yeah, all good in the hood. So if anything happens, we'll let you know. But until then, catch you later. Hello everyone. So we've come to the end of the session. We're currently just down at the campsite where the toilets are. Haley wants to go before we go. We'll get on the road. So yeah, difficult session really. Very hard going all weekend. But you know, we got the PB, which is basically what I came for. So yeah, 27.2. So good fish. So I'm happy just with that. I did say to Haley before we started, I said if we just have one that is, you know, in the high 20 brackets, I'll be happy. So I'm happy enough with that. You'll notice behind me that we're in the car. I've usually got a van, and it's so much easier with a van. This car is absolutely filled to the brim, but some of it is her gubbins that she brings. So yeah, definitely glad I've got a barrow that I can just wheel in and wheel out my van. So if you have a car and you've got a lot of stuff, I do feel for you. So right, until the next time. Oh, here she comes. She's coming back. Okay, let's say goodbye. Yes, she will. So don't know when the next time is that we're going to be out, but it will be pretty soon. You saying goodbye?
Goodbye.
Right, lines guys, catch you later.